been up since 2.
Yeah, you're nuts.
Yeah,
You're crazy.
we've been up since 2. It was the podcast. The podcasters have to pod, or so it goes something like that. We got a pod. This is what we do on Mondays. I love Mondays.
And here we are.
Yeah, the last Monday we weren't here, and it made my Monday very
Disappointing.
Okay, I wasn't happy about that.
Well, all is back to normal.
But now we're all back.
And we get a double this week.
We get a double this week. I love doubles. At some point we gotta do a triple.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm already trying to get out of the double, and you're trying to hit me with a triple.
The triple. Nah, man. The single is tough, as we saw last week.
Listen, you guys can do the triple, the quad, 5 when I'm gone. You can do whatever you please
Every day.
in those 3 weeks. Yeah, if you can do a daily
Yeah, we should.
preseason update,
No.
transfer, because I know you love to talk about the transfers.
That's gonna be damn by
Or
himself.
maybe you can follow TFC live daily.
listen. My office is we're doing some construction in the office, so I'm at home. Some
Oh,
weeks
see?
2 days a week, some days 3 days a
wow.
week.
Yeah.
The daily Pozuelo update.
Yeah.
Yeah. When is he arriving to Pearson?
Yeah.
You can go down to the Downs View and what he pulls up in.
Welcome
Yeah.
him.
That's what I'm curious. What do you think he drives?
He drove. I don't know.
What nationality is he? He's Spanish?
You should know this.
I don't know.
He's your guy now.
You should know
officially.
this. You're part of the Pozuelo hive.
No, I'm not.
I am, but that's only once he touches down.
Oh, yeah, because he's only coming in the end of March, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll be here for the game against New York City.
He's not officially here yet.
Oh, okay.
So no.
I
Sorry,
don't
gang.
know. I don't even know how to spell his name.
Pozuelo. Pozuelo. Yes.
Oh,
it is.
somebody who's already Google searching him.
You know it. If you join the hive, you gotta know everything about him. I'm just not revealing anything until he steps foot.
Does
on
it not have a
Canadian soil.
Wikipedia page?
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm sure he doesn't.
Get on that TFC live. Played for Genk. Come on,
Yeah, he did.
that's got to be good enough.
Hey, there he is.
Oh, yeah, he's Spanish.
Swagged
Spanish?
out.
Yeah,
Did he ever get
Oh,
called up to
played
national?
for Swansea City in 2013.
Yes, he did.
Swagged out.
Wow.
And you guys are not happy?
Rayo Vallecano, Betis.
Ooh, get an
Damn.
experienced European vet.
Wow.
TFC are so fortunate. So fortunate.
In terms of,
Just getting all these nice little international players to come to the. Well, that was the norm in MLS, so I can't really say that.
I'd like to know what the name Toronto FC means in like Europe. What
So,
that holds
it's-
to attract these players.
So
Like,
I'll tell you, a friend of mine who used to live here has moved back to France, and in L'Equipe there is a section of MLS now in the L'Equipe
Yeah.
paper. It's not that it's every day on TFC or anything like that. It's just on MLS. So the MLS brand is growing in France. So I don't know what TFC itself represents in Europe, but the MLS is making some bit of traction. And my sister says there is some talk of MLS in the UK, especially with Rooney being here and Almiron coming
Yeah.
to Newcastle. So it's not. It still has that stigma of like you go there once you can't make it in Europe anymore. But Europe is giving it some sort of look at.
Yeah, I'd figure. Basically, as if you're doing well, it's going to be brought up. And if you have players coming from those countries, everything's going to fly. So it's not that big of a deal. So good for him. Happy to see him here.
Yep.
We'll see how that goes. We'll get into TFC in a bit.
Mhm.
But I just want to say I was happy. You guys are just jumping into all these little pockets of different conversations. And then
Sorry.
we have a lot to talk about. And you think this ain't going to go over 2 hours? Oh, boy. It definitely,
definitely is
is.
not.
It definitely is. Oh, someone's going to get left out this week.
Oh, yeah.
Someone's
that's
gonna
fine.
get, someone's
be
gonna get
Bayern.
left out this week.
Sorry, Jimmy.
No, I was gonna say Fabs' team, but
Oh, that's great. But we don't have to talk about that at all. We can move right past that, actually. Well,
you think I forgot?
I was hoping you forgot,
I tried
actually.
to retweet all his tweets.
Nope.
Yeah, you went deep in
Leave me alone.
in your sentimental bag. This
People
weekend.
probably just think I dislike my own team.
but I
Because I only
enjoy,
ever talk about them when they're losing,
Yeah.
not when they're winning.
but I enjoy it because it's very insightful, and I feel like I trust it more than if I see someone else tweet about it. So
yeah, because everybody else is just gonna lie to you.
I know that's why you're on this podcast. Organic, unfiltered soccer analysis. You don't lie. Only I get to lie most of the time.
Oh, yeah, actually, I've learned that quite well.
I don't know.
In the middle of arguments, he lies. I'll give him credit. He actually sticks to his lie until he admits to it later.
Well, someone's gotta lie on this podcast. You guys are too honest. So
I was just lying about Spurs the whole time.
no, you weren't. You honestly believe that shit.
I was trying to get out of it.
You guys are, oh man, whatever. We're gonna start this podcast so you guys can stop complaining. We're getting to this podcast. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's do
Mic's on.
Mike's
Is
on.
that camera on?
Camera's
Oh, it's
on.
definitely gonna die. Soundboard on?
Yep.
I didn't hear one gunshot, and I've been waiting for this. One of those weeks. There we go. With that being said, if everything is ready, it's the InnerViews Podcast, episode number 62, live and direct from Toronto. It is extremely cold. I'm in my comfy attire. I don't know about you guys, dressing pretty well.
Dapper Dan likes to keep the
You
name.
don't get cold in that?
Yeah.
Is that all you wear?
Yeah.
Or you wear, and you wear the goose?
I wear the goose.
Okay, fair enough. I was like, yo, it's negative something out there.
Yeah, I wear the goose.
It's frigid.
Keeps me warm.
Whenever I say it's frigid, you know it's cold. Frigid is like one of those words you never want to use.
No.
Anyhow, we're live and direct from Toronto. The streets are empty, which means the Leafs and the Raptors are probably not playing. And if so, no one really showed up. TFC off to their first win of MLS. Shout out to the TFC fans. Boy, did you guys change your tune this week. We're going to get to you guys later. You guys are so fake. You're so fake.
You are fake news.
I'm going to kill all of them. Whether they win or lose, because I'm disappointed. Stick to your shit.
No, but that's fickle. That's everybody. I don't think there's one fan base that's not like that.
Yeah. Ooh, I like the fickle fans.
No, Chelsea beat Fulham and it's okay again.
Yeah. Sorry's in. Lock them up.
Extend that
3-year
contract.
deal. We never doubted you.
Jorginho scoring goals. We love him.
We're chanting they were chanting his name.
No, they were not.
Really?
Yeah, they were.
Really?
Yeah, I was just walking up. Yeah,
Wow.
they were.
It's funny what 2 weeks does.
Shout out to him. Other people are like, oh, he ain't getting no assists. Whatever, man.
Chelsea fans have short-term memory
Yeah,
loss.
we'll get to those losers eventually too. Anyhow, we're live and direct from Toronto, Ontario. We're trying to get through this winter. The 3 guys are back. Last week it was 2. If you guys didn't enjoy it, well, Dan's back because some people like Dan. I like to think a lot of people like Dan and Fabs.
Definitely.
So if one of you guys
Dan.
are missing, then there does leave an emptiness in their hearts while they're listening or watching.
Wow.
So shout out to you guys for being the good people that kind of keep this shit afloat. With that being said, how are you guys?
We're good. Or at least I'm good. I can speak for myself.
Yeah, I'm good too.
Good. Did you miss the podcast last week?
I did.
Did you listen to the podcast last
No, I did
week?
not.
Oh, whatever, man.
Our content sucks.
Doesn't even show up. He's like, oh shit, I'm not listening to this.
He took the whole week off. I'll give him credit.
I just figured you guys were going to rip on me for the first half an hour.
I don't actually. No.
Yeah, I did at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely did.
Oh,
at
so
some
you
point.
remember that? You
Yeah.
don't remember? You don't remember the actual content, but you remember that.
I remember the first hour was great. Then we started talking about classical that Fab said he didn't like. I was like, okay, I got to check out. And then we got to TFC and I woke right back up. So that's kind of how that went. Oh, we talked about the Bundesliga and I was like, nah, pass. Hard pass.
Sorry, Jim.
Sorry, Jim. But we were talking about them this week too. Anyhow, did you enjoy your week off?
I did.
Did you enjoy where you were?
I did.
We're not going to get into where we
that's
were
fine.
because that is totally against what we're trying to do here. So I just want to let you know that I care, that you enjoyed it.
I did. There was a nice compliment to you as well, to those guys, from those guys.
Oh, well, shout out to them then. But we're still not
we
going to
don't have
mention who they are.
Keep fighting the good fight,
Keep fighting
boys.
a good fight.
Yeah.
If you guys are listening or watching, we appreciate everything that you do, but we just can't name your podcast. It's podcast worse.
It's against our rules.
Yeah, and you were within close proximity, so definitely not.
Terrible idea.
I'm just using all the sounds today. This is awesome.
Terrible idea.
Just trying to take our local fans. No, I'm playing, guys. Anyhow, anything big happened this week for you guys?
No, not really.
Fabs is busy this weekend.
Yeah.
By the way, that you haven't opened yours.
Get into his marriage bag.
But
Man,
those
you guys are-
those wedding invitations, top class.
You guys are coming along with me on the journey.
I thought there was like a special gift in there. I was like, Fabs is
No, that
giver-
happens at the wedding. You got to show up to the wedding to get the
receive
gift.
it.
Ah, okay, no.
Yeah,
That's how these things work.
I thought that you guys are giving us the gift before and after. I was like,
Oh.
damn, this is already the best wedding I've ever
I don't
been
know. The interviews just doesn't pay. So
I'm supposed to tell them that. You guys, so you had a good weekend?
Good weekend.
Fabs was busy. You were busy.
Yes.
You went to a nice little bar.
Yeah, that's the first and last time I do that.
Why is that? I
Uh,
just want to hear him say it because I say it all the time.
I don't like those other Juventus fans.
Okay, good.
You should have just said I don't like people.
Yeah, you should have said people.
Nope.
Now they're gonna kill you.
Oh, I don't care. I'm telling people how the way it is.
Yeah, the bar viewing isn't good for you.
No, you know what? I prefer to watch it in the comfort of my own home.
It's funny that we do something we're supposed to interact and
Yeah.
be social
Yeah.
about the sport that we cover, but the three of us just despise watching it with other people.
I don't.
That's why it's funny because Dan is always like, "Yo, Jimmy's telling us to go watch with him."
But you know what? I don't mind. I think I would go and watch. Okay, if we talk about Jimmy, I don't mind going to watch Bayern because it's not my team, so I would go
Oh,
there
That
and I would
makes
watch.
sense.
But I don't want to go and watch it with guys who cheer for the team that I support that are delusional. I would rather go watch it with delusional Bayern fans. I really don't care. I don't care about them.
It's a soft spot.
Yeah.
No, I just want to watch it with anyone that's delusional. I don't care.
Oh, then
You want to watch a game at a bar?
then you know what?
It's the worst
The takes are
experience.
flying.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
takes are
I
flying.
think we should go and write down the takes because I feel like the content would be fantastic.
Well, you know what? Jimmy's asked us to go to a number of times to go watch Bayern.
Well, Bayern are now
Bad.
in the mix.
They're in the.
So we're gonna go.
So
Fabs is the one that's gonna. I'm preoccupied. We're not gonna say why I'm preoccupied. I'm preoccupied
Okay,
during
so
the hours
Fabs,
that Bayern
you-
play.
You and I will
we're gonna go watch Bayern.
Yeah.
Wow.
They'll give it. He said we're even gonna feed us.
Pause.
Jim,
Jim, I'm not going now.
some schnitzel? Do they keep it authentic with the
They
schnitzel?
do. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Yo, you gotta come for the
Yeah.
schnitzel.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
Yo,
If you try to back out on the schnitzel,
that's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Nah,
Yo.
Jims, I'm good. I don't want you guys to feed me. I don't want any of your schnitzel or whatever schnitzel is being made. I'm good, man.
you don't want Olaf in the back making you some schnitzel?
No. I just.
It's at I don't even. I don't remember.
Oh,
the name of the
we
bar.
don't want to expose where they go.
No, I don't remember. Actually,
But
I don't
it's
remember.
local.
If-
Like
Yeah.
that's pretty cool though.
Yeah.
That
So-
these fan
so-
bases can do these local
So
things.
last week he was telling me, and there's a picture of it. I think he said there was 55 people who came to watch. Who they play this week?
This week, Gladbach.
Gladbach.
Yeah.
He said there was 55 people that came, and I think he says he has over 150 or maybe 200 paid members.
Wow.
I believe it because
Shout out to you guys.
that other YouTube page
Yeah.
that's still supposed to get back to us.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
they
yeah.
said they were at some
Yeah,
point,
yeah.
right?
It's
Remember
okay. Too little, too late.
Yeah, too late now. They did something with I didn't know FC Barcelona had their own little place down here too, and it looked like they got a lot of followers. They got a lot of people.
Why don't like Porto? They have a place here.
They have their house.
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
The other team that we can't name that I will name soon has a house.
Well, it's moved. I don't know where it's moved to now, but it's not next door.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
They
that-
lost 1 year and they moved the whole clubhouse somewhere else.
Okay, y'all, you should not be together
Yeah.
anyways. What?
Yeah, they're like literally 7 doors down from one another.
Oh my God.
There's
Juve has one.
there is a Juventus one.
AC Milan have theirs in Woodbridge.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they
Okay.
go to like a little bar. Whatever.
Okay.
You gotta do what you do.
Shout out to all the clubs who are
Yeah.
trying to keep it alive.
But,
over
Yeah.
here.
but so I can just speak on behalf of the Bayern one. But they are associated with the club in Germany. They have if
Oh, yeah,
they
so
go
is the Porto one.
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
I
if
think
they-
they all are.
if
Right?
if they go watch if they tell them they're gonna come there, they can get some deals on tickets, on merchandise and whatnot. So no, kudos to all, not just the Bayern one, but to all of them that work hard to get that fan base to
Yeah.
come out and
So
watch.
I guess we're going to Germany next.
To
Then.
spread all the. No, we're not. Like actually going or like talking.
You don't want the authentic schnitzel?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oktoberfest?
Nah, I'm good.
With your little Leverhosen.
If we all go to.
Apparently, you got to get on the table and chug the beer
Yeah.
at Oktoberfest. or something
Okay,
like that. There's
yeah,
like 200 people around.
We
Yeah.
could do that.
Or in your case, glass of water.
we could
Yeah.
do that. We could go.
With
Keep
your
it low key.
We could go. I'm good. Anything else happen this weekend? I want to ask Dad the question about. I'm not going to bring up the entire conversation, but I want to ask him if he'd ever. What does he think about the bottle service girls? Have you ever met a bottle service girl?
No.
Okay, fine. We'll get into it.
Actually, I had a thought. Is the flight attendant the new bottle service girl?
Whoa! Hold on. What was the what?
Is the flight attendant the new bottle service girl?
What? You know what?
Let's just keep it there. Keep it there and get back to me next week.
You know what?
Ask your buddies.
Yeah, I've heard some stories about these little flight attendants.
And I'm leaving it right there. It's staying there.
I know.
Actually, a friend of mine was a flight attendant.
There's a female?
Yep.
Bless her. Bless her.
And I know about these little flight attendants.
Don't say it. Don't say it like that.
Don't say it.
Don't say it like that. You can't say little flight attendants.
Big flight attendants? Tall?
Just flight attendants.
Okay, just flight attendants?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're out here.
Good for them.
They're out there
It's-
spreading whatever they need to spread on the planes and off the planes. They're doing good.
Make sure you exit to the right exits.
Yeah. They ensure that I feel safe when I board their aircraft.
Okay, well, let's stop. Let's just stop.
I don't know, man. I'm just answering the question.
That's funny.
I had a lot of questions to ask, but we're running out of time constraint here. Any Twitter beef this week?
Zero.
No.
Are you sure, Fabs?
I didn't. Well, I didn't check my mentions. I don't know if somebody got mad for what I said.
Yo, man, it's interesting about that entire thing. We don't want to talk about it now because I don't really care about what happens now. You know me. I'm a May guy. I'm a May guy. So we'll see how it goes. But they're on a little tear.
I love how in January or in October you were a January guy, and now in February you're a May guy. What a jerk!
In this situation, I'm a May guy because I'm not gonna talk shit about no one until May because I don't follow that league religiously.
Yeah, I guess.
So that's why I'm a May guy there. Oh, I'm a March guy. I told you all this shit happens in March, and look at behold, all this shit is happening in March. Y'all don't listen.
Dan's looking for where Spurs are in the table on his phone right now.
Y'all don't listen. Dortmund was up a hot 9.
That
Yep.
Jimmy's a happy guy.
Liverpool was up a hot something.
They almost went up a hot 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had a conversation of what happens if they go up double digits. Is it over?
And we could roll back. Remember what I said? I was like, nah. I didn't care if they won. And look where we are now.
They're down 1.
Yeah. The only one that gets a pass is well, I know I never said anything about Juve, but they killed that shit this week.
they're at like what, 16?
I'm so sick.
But you know what? Okay, go. I won't talk. We want to talk about Juve now.
No. I have a lot.
hold that.
I have a lot to say about.
Good.
I haven't even played the Law and Order song.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
So
do I.
See, we got a lot to talk about. So with that being said,
There we go. Yeah.
Shout out to all the YouTube subscribers. You guys keep doing what you're doing. Shout out to the comments. I'm gonna get back to you commenters in a bit, but it's just been really hectic around here with the podcast and just keeping everything afloat.
Give us 2 weeks to get out of this Champions League grind and this weekend grind international break.
I'll respond to your comments promptly. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Promptly.
Wow. That's impressive.
Shout out to all the podcast listeners on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, and your Apple devices, and those Android users on whatever Android podcast apps that you use on your Android devices. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to those on Facebook, liking and commenting, liking and following. Keep doing what you're doing. Shout out to those that are also doing their thing on Instagram and on Twitter. Twitter people have been leaving me alone. That's great. I haven't really been tweeting, but I'm just trying to chill.
Well, I have a feeling you'll probably have some things to say this week.
I'm going to try not to. I'm going to try my best not to. Okay? I just want to retweet you guys shit because that's fun. And I'm just gonna,
He's trying to get us in trouble.
Yeah, I'm going to spice it up a bit next time. I saw Dad tweet something about Michael Bradley. And I was gonna spice it up a bit.
With your connections, are you really? Should you be saying stuff about him?
He said good things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad thing. It was praising him for him rolling back the clock, the Kievo clock.
Yeah.
The
flying dog.
Yeah, you see? So shout out to everyone there. Shout out to those in Toronto doing everything that they're doing. Shout out to all the new Toronto soccer podcasts, all the new soccer podcasts, the Clip Draw Gang, Fabs' De Gea clan. Y'all, I'm going to get y'all out of here soon too. Shout out to the Grizz Gang. Shout out to Dad and his Juve fans out at the little bar in Yorkville for keep doing what they're doing. Keep supporting, fighting the good fight. Shout out to all the independent men, the independent women. Shout out to those that are in the cold. Please stay warm. Shout out to those that are helping those that are really cold. Shout out to the mailmen, the firemen, all the public service workers. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to all those that... last thing. I'm so disappointed in people because on Fridays, Saturdays, sometimes Sundays, when we are really doing what we're doing, I like to live vicariously through people's Instagram stories and Snapchat stories and everything. People are trash now, man. No one's going out. I'm trying to live.
It's like negative 20 degrees out.
No, I knew some people that went out this week, and I said, "You guys are sick."
See, so how are you going to say go out and then call him sick?
You guys are.
There
sick.
he is on the fence again.
You guys are really trying to club for.
Meanwhile, when they have their seven IG stories, you're watching all of them.
Yeah, I'm replaying them. I'm trying to live through it twice.
Oh, like who's that?
Yeah, who's that in the background? What song are you guys playing to now? No, they're sick, but I still respect them. But they're sick. You got to stand in that line, in those lines.
Or maybe they know the guy.
Not everyone knows the guy.
No.
I feel like everybody who goes out knows a guy.
They better know the guy.
Maybe not the guy. They know a guy
that knows the guy. But sometimes a guy can't get you in like the guy can get you in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're still paying that $20 cover.
Yeah. You gotta look real good. I'm sorry, I gotta say that. But yeah, I'm just disappointed that I'm trying to live vicariously through these Instagram posts, tweets, and everything, and no one's really cutting it for me. Which is why I feel like,
oh, I know what's coming.
yeah, we gotta take it upon ourselves. Not in this weather though. I'm telling you, people are sick. I stepped outside to go to the grocery store Saturday night, and I was like, "Yo, people are crazy."
You literally walk out the door and you get smacked in the face.
Crazy.
And it tells you to go back.
You get
inside.
slapped back inside.
You know what? Shout out to the people who are delivering Uber on bikes.
Yeah.
Do they still do that in the winter?
Yeah.
I've seen countless people on bikes.
Shout out to the Uber drivers, the Uber bike riders. Shout out to those people going to the club and willingly waiting in lines for an hour in this weather. Shout out to the bottle service girls. Shout out to the bouncers. Keep bouncing.
Keeping the place safe.
Shout out to the DJs, the photographers, the promoters. Whatever you guys are doing, get in your bag. This is a difficult time of the year to, do what you do because it's freezing. So keep doing what you're doing. And yeah, man, with that being said, if no one else has anything to say, if we forgot to shout someone, let us be known that we are shouting you out right now. Shout to you. But with that being said, you guys are on your phones, which means you guys are ready. I'm ready. So Fabs, you know what time it is. It's the InnerViews Podcast, episode 60, number 62. I hope it's number 62.
I think you're
live
right.
and direct, Toronto, Ontario, organic, unfiltered soccer/footy analysis. It's time to get going. But before we even hit that, this is the best soccer/footy podcast in the goddamn world. How am I always forgetting that? I'm just so happy to see Dan, and I forgot to say that. Organic, unfiltered soccer/footy analysis. This is the only place you're going to find that real footy/soccer banter. So, guys, let's get into it. Where we start and where we go and what matters, what doesn't matter. The energy's live. I'm ready. Let's do it. Last week I was falling asleep. We're not falling asleep this week, boys. I got a lot to say. Also, Wolves stink. I forgot to say that last week. You don't get to lose to Huddersfield and think that I'm not going to call you out on it. Huddersfield suck.
They stink.
And you lost. And Wolves, nah, man. You're lucky you won this week.
I was gonna say they barely beat Cardiff.
Yeah,
Like, that's not very impressive.
You get the nice run of schedule.
There's no way you're losing to Huddersfield and then Cardiff. Those two on the spin.
You're here beating Chelsea and giving United,
drawing City,
you're knocking Liverpool out of the FA Cup, and then you're gonna go lose to Huddersfield and barely beat Cardiff. Nah, man. I'm telling you, their second season bounce is gonna be more like a second season dip. That's my.
Well, a lot of those guys are loaned too, so it will be key to see who they keep, who they offload. If any of their talented younger players get bought by somebody else.
No, even if they keep them, they're gonna experience some shit.
We'll see when Nuno's tactics evolve.
Ah, good point. Good point. Where we started? What mattered?
You guys seem pretty passionate about that Juve thing.
No, I don't. No, that's for later. They don't get. After that, no, they don't get it. They don't get to start this podcast.
Then we'll start where we always start in the Premier League.
There it is.
Shout out to the Prem Boys.
The Prem Boys are back.
The Prem Boys are back. They're back.
Oh,
Dad
what
is
a
happy
feeling.
to talk about the Prem. The biggest game this weekend. The biggest game this weekend, his team lost, but the Prem Boys.
Spurs haven't won in a month in the Prem.
Spurs are gonna spur.
What?
I don't know.
Yo, I need you
last
week. Go back to sleep. Spurs are gonna spur. Okay.
You think they almost lost three games in 7 days.
I see where we're going with this.
Dan, man, I was so happy until I heard that they went and gave Harry the little pen.
Oh,
this podcast would have been so much better.
I know.
So we're going to North London Derby.
Okay.
Where Spurs had a great opportunity to avenge some terrible defeats and avenge their little collapse earlier this season at the Emirates Stadium. where they started very well, and lo and behold, great Harry comes back. 3 games now, Dad. No wins. Lucky to get a draw.
I almost feel like I got to play that Law and Order theme again so we can figure out what's going on over there.
Is this... I could take this so many places. Now, what is going on over at Spurs?
Oh, you're asking.
Yeah, I'm asking you.
You're our insider.
You're our insider. You know what Poch is thinking.
He's thinking, I'm going to get the fuck out of here.
Okay, well then.
Anyhow.
I really didn't think that was coming.
Yeah, I did not think that was happening.
Are you turning on them, Dan? Is the faith not there? Are they no longer the 3rd best team in England, Dan?
That's what I want to know. Losers are trying to put them in the title race 7 days ago.
I think their grip on that 3rd place is slipping, and I think the further they go into this Champions League, if they go further, I think that 3rd place could be slipping and sliding away.
So you think the further they progress, the worse that their record will be in the league?
Yeah.
I don't think that really matters because they haven't played a Champions League game in a while.
I know, but those Champions League games are now going to are not going to be as spread out as they were in this round of 16. They're going to be a lot tighter.
Are you proposing the G-Nev bow out of the Champions League so that you could stay in the top 3?
Oh no,
because he said that about Liverpool. I don't know if you guys caught that.
No, I didn't.
Oh really?
He made a comment where he's like, Liverpool should not worry about the Champions League, bow out of the Champions League to focus on winning the league.
Okay, we're gonna get to them in a second. I don't even want to go there. You should have told me that first. We just started.
Yeah, that's great. To me, that's nuts. That's wild.
Let's about a 3 competitions and then still lose the one.
Wow. And not win anything.
That would be the funniest story ever. Don't do that.
Come on, Gary.
Liverpool fans, don't
listen to Gary.
Yeah.
What does he know?
Gary just wants you to suffer.
Didn't he get sacked by Valencia? Yeah. What does he know?
Dan, you told me exactly what I was expecting you to tell me. By the way.
Yeah,
I know they're slipping. We all know they're slipping. I don't think that does matter though. The Champions League run, because as a group, we all are coming together. Well, you two are 100% certain. I'm close there that they're gonna get to the next round.
Okay,
that's a general consensus. They're into the quarterfinal.
That's fair,
barring some crazy collapse, and then we'll have to kill them on Thursday.
Right.
So
me and Dan are getting killed.
Yeah.
Well, I said 95%.
I'll give them 100.
No, I'm not going to kill you guys.
Oh.
I'm just going to be like, yo, just don't doubt. I don't care if you get it wrong. Just don't doubt. But yeah, so the general consensus is that they're going to make it through.
Yes.
I don't think those 2 extra games are really going to be the difference here. Because they're out of the FA Cup. There's no Carabao Cup. Like, that shouldn't be why they don't get into the top 4.
I think that should not be an excuse anymore.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be an excuse for anybody.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, if you want to claim to be a top team in any of these leagues, you need to compete across all competitions. Poch has been saying that he doesn't need to win trophies. He needs to stay in the top 4 every year. Well, here it is. That huge gap that you built yourself is virtually almost gone.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no one to blame but themselves. No
one. And if you look across all the other sides, they're the team that has the least amount of options in this stretch now. It's not like you're going to the bench and all of a sudden Llorente is becoming an impact player who could come in the 60th minute and potentially win you the game. If he wins you the game, it's because of a late ball that comes into the box and he got his head onto it. Mm-hmm. There's not, especially missing Dele Alli, which I think is the key cog to this whole thing. We've often asked the question of who's Spurs' most important player. Is it Kane? Is it Son? Is it Eriksen? It could potentially be Ali.
No, it is.
No, I agree with you, but
let you guys let it
the,
rock.
The one time in that first half that Spurs really made an effort, it was when Eriksen made that secondary run into the box. Mm-hmm. You don't get that from Eriksen on a minute-to-minute basis. You get that from Ali. There's a lot of those situations where if Kane drifts out or drifts wide, because I think he's one of the better strikers in the Prem at doing that and being able to pick out a pass. there's no figure inside of that box. There's no Ali making that run. There's no other. Ericsson just isn't that player.
So if I'm a Spurs fan, a real Spurs fan.
You're used to this?
No, I wasn't gonna go there. Yeah, but I wasn't gonna go there. And I'll even go one step further. If I'm not at Pochettino, but if I'm Levy, my biggest fear is that Kane asks me for a transfer because they've kept him, let's say, happy, but and he hasn't pushed a transfer. But if they bottle this and they finish outside of the top 4, that means no Champions League next year. And Harry comes to your door and he says, "I want out." What do you do? That's for me. That is the disaster right there. Because if he wants out, he's gonna push his way out. And I think if you're a Spurs fan, that probably would be disaster for you. If you stay in top 4, you could somewhat persuade him to stay around longer. But if you're out of the top 4, what keeps some of those big guys there?
You can go Fabs.
I was just gonna say, is Kane's value ever going to be higher than it is right now?
That's one way I was going with it.
If you choose not to sell him now,
Yeah.
then this might be the point where you get the most out of him.
There's one thing that Daniel Levy isn't scared to do, and that's to sell his best players. But the one thing that he does deserve credit for is that he sells them at a premium. So he knows that Harry Kane is probably not going to stay there for the rest of his career. And he knows that eventually he's going to sell him. Mm-hmm. And he's already aware as to where he wants to shift the club based on Kane's departure. But he knows that he's getting a premium price for him. And he's already been through this with players that are better than Kane or were better than Kane. He sold Luka. Yeah. And he sold Gareth Bale.
Yeah, and who did he get with? What did they do with the money that they got with?
Well, they are in the position they are
the squad
today,
that they're in now. That's the thing, is that at the end of the day, when you sell off these good players, these great players, you're never gonna get a like for like replacement.
No, never. That's not
ever. So that's why it's like you're gonna sell him, and you may take a step backwards, but in the long term, he's always been able to sustain that because with Modric and Bale, they were in the top 4, and then eventually they took a step back, but then they got back in there. They've been there for a while. So I have trust in him that when Kane, because that's really, they could get rid of the others and eventually they'll be able to find other players to fit into those slots. But when he does sell him, he's been there before.
But don't they want to sell him on their terms and not Kane forcing his way out?
I don't think you could ever sell him on your terms. The only way that it could go bad and they'll never let it get to that point is if they let him go for free.
No, that's not that. I don't think they'll ever let him go for free. But what I'm saying is, if let's say that Kane asks to go this year,
yeah,
they finish in the top 4. Okay, let's assume that they still finish top 4.
Okay,
at least you're in a position. You're going to sell Kane. You're still in the Champions League. You can retool and whatnot. But what if you're out of the Champions League and Harry forces his way out? He says to you, "I don't want to play here.
Okay.
I'm out."
1, he needs a suitor. 2, we'll see who goes after him. And 2, they're still going to get the money. It doesn't. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I don't think it's that crazy.
But do you think they still get the same amount of money?
Yeah.
If you know that the player wants out?
Yeah. He'll push it.
For a player of his caliber, I think you still do.
He'll push it.
If somebody shows up to my door with between 80 and 120 million pounds,
yeah,
I'm selling him.
But no one could come, even if he wants to go, no one could lowball and try and give them 40 or 60.
Yeah, because he's a player that hasn't hit the prime of his career yet.
Levy won't.
He's not Alexis Sanchez who's peaking or in the middle of his. He's still going to hit a certain level
with like months left on his contract. So
yeah.
That's not going to be the case. They will get top dollar for him. And at the end of the day, you never want a player to leave. So whether he forces it out or another club, if a club comes like Real Madrid and want him and persuades him to go, he'll force out regardless, right? So,
and at that point, I think the fans understand that it's Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Like, what is Levy going to do? Levy has to sell him. I think the fans get that. They're smart enough to understand that.
But what if it's not Real Madrid?
Well,
What happens if it's
going to be somebody who's coming in with a ton of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what
Unfortunately, Spurs is not bigger than United. Spurs is not bigger
Yeah.
than City. He's not going to go to City.
what if City or United come in with a bunch of money? Would you then be forced to sell Harry to one of your main competitors, rivals, whatever you want?
If they play top premium, he'll sell them.
I think you have to. You cannot say no to all that money.
Yeah.
To help you retool the team a little bit.
He'll sell for top premium because that's why he held out. Bale was the Madrid thing that was destined to happen. Luka, they held out because at that point Chelsea and United weren't willing to pay the amount of money that Spurs had wanted for Luka because they thought at that time that the 40 or 50 million was too much at that time. So United and Chelsea didn't want to. But if they did hit that, then he would have sold him to those clubs.
Not to say Piatek is Kane, but it's proven that you can go out there and with 40 million to 60 million, you can get yourself a very good replacement. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say they're at the quality of Kane because Kane is who Kane is.
Right.
And the Premier League is a different animal, but you can still find yourself a good replacement and bolster the rest of your lineup.
And you have to remember that when Kane came up, he was not who he was now.
No, of course.
So at the same point, you have to take in that you may have to get someone lesser that could eventually grow into that player.
And I think that's a conversation that we have. A serious conversation is if Spurs don't finish in the top four, where they don't have Champions League football, how do you keep those star players happy now that they're not in the Champions League?
Well, I already told you that some of those players need to really relax because I don't know where else they're going to go and walk into a squad that's in the Champions League and get regular minutes.
Barring less than a handful of them.
Yeah. Less than
Eriksen, Ali.
But I think if you're Spurs, you're worried about losing Kane, you're worried about losing Ali, and you're worried about losing Eriksen.
I think if you're Spurs, you're worried about losing the brand that is Harry Kane. You're not worried about the on-field as much.
No, yeah. But I think
that represents so much more because right now he is the face of Spurs.
Correct. And I think that's something that we've talked about on here from other players like Pogba, having that brand. And I think Harry's brand is not as big as Pogba's by any stretch of the imagination, but he does carry a brand.
Or just being the captain of England.
That's what I'm saying.
He's one of their own.
Yes.
Exactly. But I think at the end of the day, Spurs fans and ownership and everybody realizes that financially they are not in the position to keep Kane for a long term. Unless he decides that he will take less money,
right,
or is content with what he has at Spurs, I think they realize that at some point here, he's going to leave.
Does Spurs have to go out and spend big money to keep Kane and Ali and Eriksen at the club to show them that they are serious at contending for the Premier League title and in Europe?
Well, those guys have been here for how many years now and they haven't contended?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the last year that they, and I mean, you could argue that they should have won it was the year that they went head to head against Leicester.
Yeah, well, there was a few teams that
should have won.
That's what I'm saying. But they were in the race, right? You know, I'm just saying if I'm looking at that team, I'm wondering how you can keep that team together without them having to open up the bank and spend a little bit of money.
Well, they have two options here. They could do that and bring in some depth or
blow it up.
And it could work around. It could end up messing up their wage structure and how they go about things that way. And they could do that and try and keep them. Or, to be honest, they could let some of those players walk and find some, not obviously for replacements, but players that are somewhat near that quality that they can look to mold into that quality.
If anyone has shown us that they're good at doing that, it's Spurs.
Oh yeah.
So that it's, to me, it's not really a life or death situation here, because at the end of the day, they're gonna get top money for Kane, and so be. And I don't think that he's gonna leave until they eventually move into that stadium, whenever that is supposed to happen.
It could be in the next month or so. No?
Yeah. So once they do that, then that's when I could really see him leaving.
And I also think the big question is who the manager is.
and that's the second
Because
thing.
with the manager comes the players that he wants to try to attract.
And that's the biggest loss that I think they could have more so than Kane, is that Poch does have a realistic chance of going, and who do they bring in to really take over from there? For me, that's their biggest loss. Forget Kane, because eventually we know that's going to happen. And the other guys, I don't know if Ali could go anywhere and really fit into another squad the way that he does now. Because there is a question that a lot of these players are a product of the system. And I told that to Fabs last week. I don't know if we're going to have that. We're not going to have that conversation today, but we can have that conversation at the end of the season to see where they would fit in other places and if they would be able to perform at the level that they are now. Does the system maximize them? Because it's not really working for them now. They should have lost this weekend.
Yep.
Should have lost this weekend. And Lloris saved them.
Yeah.
Lacazette's poor finishing saved them.
Yep.
Because I thought he should have killed the game before that whole mess happened anyways.
Yep.
I thought it was a poor penalty too.
It was.
Aubameyang's, yep.
Aubameyang's.
Yep.
So Lloris, Aubameyang, Lacazette's poor finishing, because Arsenal were the better side for large spells of that game.
And look, then that goal shouldn't have stood.
Well, that's for another debate.
You know, I'm just saying, like let's put all of that together, and Spurs shouldn't have gotten anything out of that game.
I think they really missed Winks.
Yes.
Because a midfield of Wanyama and Sissoko, yeah, they work hard. Yeah, they can make short passes, but Winks could stretch the play, can involve the fullbacks. It gives you a different look. I think Winks in maybe the past 2 months has been one of Spurs' best players.
Yep, and that goes to their decision making in regards to that midfield, because Dyer hasn't really been there, and they let Dembele go, or Dembele chose to go. Whatever happened there, and then who else do they really have in that midfield?
Just that kid.
Yeah, that's been
Skip.
Yeah,
Skip.
Our boy Oliver.
Oliver.
So
we got his name right this time.
Yeah. So that's been the big problem for them, right?
Yeah. And that goes back to the resources thing. They just don't have the resource, and it's showing.
Yeah.
That question that we ask them, were they overachieving?
Yeah.
It looks like
it's finally hitting. But that's always been the case for them, is that they have a nice 11 with a few subs off the bench, but once you get into the grind of the season, which is why I was like, wait until March, because they tend to do this a lot, is that once the games start to pick up, eventually the human body, you can't go against it. You eventually get tired.
This isn't PlayStation.
Yeah.
As Klopp says.
Yeah, you can't. Get to that loser later. Ericsson looks tired. Kane's been tired.
Yeah.
You know, Son, whatever he was doing, that was never gonna last.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And even the substitutes that came on. Lamela didn't really add anything. Llorente didn't really add anything.
Yeah. They're not gonna add everything every week though, and that's the problem.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You know, and then you got Davinson making mistakes.
Yeah. Dude, those were a couple. And not even before that. I don't know if you've seen that in like the first 10 minutes. Somebody went for a fake shot and he totally pulled himself out of position. I'm like, well, you're lucky that the buddy behind you blocked that or went over the net.
Yep.
But I think some credit needs to be given to Arsenal.
Yes. What credit do you guys want to give to Arsenal before I ask the question that I need to ask?
Because as much as it is Spurs hitting a bad stretch of games, Arsenal also pushed the play. I thought their fullbacks and their wide players were great. I can't believe I'm saying that. And Mustafi was one of them.
Yeah.
I think the fact that they haven't had Bellerin has been a huge knock against them, but somehow they've managed. Defensively, at times it's still very scrambled all over the place, but it's more competent. There seems to be at least some sort of a plan. There's a base there.
Koscielny and Socrates were great.
Yeah.
And I thought Ramsey was good too.
Ramsey, I thought, to me, that was one of the turning points in the game, is where Ramsey came off, because you lost that energy.
Yes.
Ozil doesn't give you that. Ozil gives you, he's more finer, refined. He has that.
And it got a little bit scrappy too in that second half.
Yeah.
I saw your tweet.
Yeah.
And I retweeted it before I watched the game. And then I want to unretweet it. I get what you're saying, but like, it just happened so fast. Like right when Ozil came on, that's when the free kick happened.
I don't mean that they conceded because of Ozil.
No.
I just felt like I would have preferred that at that stage of the game to keep the energy and the tempo.
Yeah.
I would have preferred to have Ramsey.
I just thought he was fading a bit. That's why he made that move.
I don't know. He's also never proven to really be a 90-minute player.
Yeah.
No. And I think unfortunately at that time the game was getting that little bit chippier, a little bit edgier. And when Ozil comes in, Ozil's not that kind of player that likes that kind of that kind of game. Because up to that point, like Fabs was saying, it wasn't that type of game. But unfortunately, that game switched. And when Ozil came in, he came at the wrong point in time. And you lost that edge.
I was hoping they were going to go to a 3 in midfield. I wouldn't have taken out Guendouzi. I would have kept Guendouzi, Torreira, and Xhaka.
Was that injury based though?
Yes,
we never got an
Was
answer.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I felt like
Because it was strange to me.
Yeah.
Especially right off at the 45-minute mark, like right
Torreira
after the
got
half.
himself sent off.
But I thought that would have been to combat the two of Wanyama and Sissoko. That could have allowed them to dictate the game a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay. Torreira kind of ruined it for them for next week. So I'm pretty sure they play United next week.
Yeah, they do.
Yes. There you go, Lucas. My question is to Unai, because we've been kind of killing managers all season. And we are now in March. And the question has to be asked to Unai, and I really have to pose it, is that in this game specifically, you had Aubameyang, Ozil, and Torreira on your bench in a big North London derby with top 4 on the line. And in those 3 players, you probably have your best central midfielder, your best creator, and your best player. Or if you don't want to say best player, best striker.
Mm-hmm. Debatable, but
on the bench.
Okay.
And it's been March, and we've been given a pass because the first phase of this new regime. But I would like to think by March you would kind of find a way or figure out a way to get all 3 of those players into your best 11. I could kind of give you a pass for the Ozil thing if we want to go that far. But I just don't understand why 3 of your 3 key players aren't on the field in that game. Because barring the Ramsey chance, and maybe there was one more counterattacking chance that they did have, and then the Lacazette miss, they didn't really create much. There was nothing that really sold me that they were going to score following Davinson's mistake. Now, you've got to find a way to possibly play a way that you could mask or hide Ozil from having to do those defensive duties, or keep him out of that game, or keep him from being pulled in those positions. But at some point, we're like 6 or 7 months in here. You kind of know what you're working with. And I understand that you may not want to use him for next season, but a lot of games this season where Arsenal have needed a creator because they don't have one in the midfield without him, that's why they've dropped points.
So the only one of those 2 that I agree with Torreira, because I feel like the way I'm saying with Ramsey's energy, I think against the Wanyama especially and a Sissoko, who do have that energy and do have that physicality, I think he would have been a good piece to play. But my counter to that is that at no point in that game did I feel, maybe this was just my optics, did I feel like, wow, they were missing an Ozil or they were missing an Aubameyang. Maybe that was just my point of view, but I thought they managed the game well. I didn't think it was because they didn't have Aubameyang that they didn't go 2-0 up or they weren't able to kill off the game. I think he's been able to manage who needs to play at the right times. Has he got it right the whole season? No.
100% not.
Of course not. But I think for the bulk of what he's done this season, he should not be given a pass because nobody deserves a pass. But he's done very well with the resources that he has.
I just think that out of any of the top sides, there's no way that they keep their best creator, their best midfielder, and probably their best player / forward on the bench in a big game like that. And if they had dominated in a different manner, then I understand. Yes, they were in control and didn't look like they were supposed to lose, nor were they supposed to. But, I mean, it's a very fine line-ish, which is why they kind of did drop points at the end.
But also in the same breath, how many of those top players, apart from Torreira, are his players? So they were brought in to be top players under different managers, right?
Yeah.
So maybe they don't fit the mold of what he specifically wants, apart from one of them.
Well, but he's a pragmatist, so I expect him to kind of... It's not like he's stubborn like Sarri. Like, I expect him to kind of fill those voids, right? It was just an interesting thing. I'm not saying he had to do it or not, but I just find that interesting because I don't think we'd see any other manager go to those lengths and leave those three
Ollie's
off.
not leaving Pogba out of a game at this point.
Which is why it's going to be interesting next season when he gets the players that he does want, and I want to see how things go for him there.
Is he going to get the players he wants?
Well, I want him to.
Because they gave him a cap in the winter, didn't they? They said
Mhm.
you can't spend X amount of dollars.
Well, I've always said for him that he can't manage the big players, and we've seen that. So, so I think, and we've seen throughout his career that he's always been better to get the best out of players that were kind of B-level players, not really great players, players that could be very good. I've seen him get the best out of those players. So it still kind of works into his ballpark. I just want to see how he handles that situation.
Can you be successful without big name players?
Yes.
Spurs have kind of proven that to a certain extent, right?
You can. I don't know if it's going to win you a title based on what else is going on at the top of the league, but he can make a run for it. He's making a run for this top four with, no defense and, bones in midfield. So
I think that would potentially be the biggest surprise of the season if he makes it into the top four. Or would it be a bigger surprise that the likes of United and Chelsea don't make the top four as opposed to him making it in?
Him, because no one really had Arsenal finishing the top four at the start of the season. So I would go with him. He would definitely be one. Anything else that you guys want to say about that?
No.
Because you guys are killing the Spurs top. No, I'm joking. Liverpool, or we're going to Merseyside derby. Liverpool. Hey man,
that game was it just me or was that game all over the place?
All over the place.
No, like a stop-start, frenetic. I didn't feel like anybody was ever comfortable.
No,
like it passes, mistakes.
It was similar to the game. The last two games that were that happened at Goodison, and then it was kind of reminiscent of what happened at Anfield.
It's like Everton or Liverpool. Everton bring that out in Liverpool, where I don't know if it's just the nature of that derby or something, or maybe it's just the fact that Liverpool psychologically they're on the brink right now, where this is the most important 2 weeks of their season.
Yes, and
how they respond at the weekend, and then how their second leg of the Champions League unfolds, I think is either going to make or break Klopp. Because I could very well see this whole last 6 months going wrong, or 6 months, 2 months, 3 months.
This was the first time that I saw Liverpool nervous, anxious, even their body language. Even the players' body language was very negative the whole game. Van Dijk was yelling at people. Emerson, Allison was yelling. I felt that the occasion took over, and I think for the first time they felt the pressure of knowing that they needed to get a result. They needed to win. They knew what City had done the day before, and I think that weighed heavily on them. And I think it's going to weigh heavily on them even more this weekend because City play first. So if City put points on the board, if City go out and win, City are up 4 now. You're going to see that same type of Liverpool anxiety if they don't score and if they don't get some goals in early. That's what I took from that.
I don't know if that's true because they were down. They were behind City when they beat Watford 5. What's it 4?
5-0.
5-0.
But Watford and Everton are Everton away.
Yeah.
And Watford at home are two different.
Yeah, but going into whoever they play next week is not going to be Everton away, which is why I don't think that really matters.
They play Burnley.
They're going to have a decent run of games. I think the only teams that they really have to play left is Chelsea go to Anfield, and I'm pretty sure they play Spurs. I want to kill them because of them dropping the ball and now being behind City by a point. But I can't kill them because I can kill them because I thought that out of those 2 games that they've played recently, they should have won 1. Technically, they should have won both, but they had to win at least one of them. And they didn't because against United, all those injuries that happened, it's on Klopp to change that game in the second half.
Yes.
And he didn't do it. Against Everton, who are a very bad side. I'm going to go on a limb and say that they are a very bad side given the talent that they do have at their disposal. They're a very bad side, and I think they're mismanaged. And I don't think Marco Silva is going to be there come next season. I don't think he should be there next season. But they had the better chances in that first half. And Klopp again had the opportunity to change the game, and he didn't change the game. He brought in like-for-like replacements, and they didn't get the job done. Whereas Marco Silva brought on Richarlison, he ended up changing the game a bit. But those are two of the most difficult games that they'll probably play this season, barring City, based off the fact that going away to United is always a tough game for them, given the history of those two sides. And going away to Everton has never been very good. They tied 0-0 at some point, one of the last two seasons, and Mane won. I remember Mane winning one in like the 96th minute.
Well, they won
the year before. And then this
Origi.
season, Origi. But I'm looking more at Klopp now, because the question here is, you've used 4-2-3-1 for large spells of this season. And in these two games, you needed that extra attacker, and you didn't give it to us. I don't care if Shaqiri's in bad form, but I'm going to take Shaqiri moving to a 4-2-3-1 when you don't need that additional midfielder instead of James Milner, who hasn't played that great this season.
That was the substitution that surprised me. I thought instead of Milner, I thought he was going to go with Shaqiri. That was going to be. I thought that was going to be one of his substitutions, and
that's why you got these guys.
Yeah,
was for these type of situations,
or even Keita to give you something different in that midfield. Mm-hmm. But I don't think this has anything to do with anxiety. I think that Klopp had two great opportunities here to win difficult games, and he didn't make the changes. I don't know why he didn't make the changes. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but we look at this side, and that front three is not really clicking.
Mm-hmm. Because is it a stubbornness in waiting for that front three to click?
Well, maybe there could be an over-reliance on that top three, on that front three.
To always think that they're just going to bail you out eventually?
Because Salah had 3 great chances, or at least 2 that come to mind.
No, that Pickford save?
The first one he definitely should have scored. The one where Keane came in.
Yes.
It wants to put on his left foot.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the first one
he should score.
Yes.
On the breakaway?
Yes.
You expect him of all people, especially with the pace to get away from the defender. He had time to open up his body. It's just Pickford closed the angle, but he shot it not directly at him, but it was way too close for him.
And at the end of it, they had the chances to win, and I just thought, I'm just expecting him to tinker that, to switch that, bring on an extra attacker, because you had nothing really to lose. They had no counter-attacking threat. Calvert-Lewin was trying his best, but those were only really half chances, and Richarlison did give them a bit of a spark, but that wasn't really enough.
Their wide players were always there to track Liverpool's fullbacks.
Yes.
And Digne looked hella nervous when Salah was ever in that zone. So if you throw someone else in that zone, like a Shaqiri,
they didn't overload enough through that side.
No, he got caught on that breakaway. He got caught up way
countless
too high.
times.
Yeah.
But that's his MO.
Yeah.
He's there to attack. He's not there to defend. Right?
No, absolutely not.
Which is an Everton issue.
Yes.
But so I look at all that, and I hear Klopp give us whatever he gives us in these little press conferences. I don't have time to verbatim and hear his
the
quote.
PlayStation comment.
I don't care. But I look at those two games, and they're very tough games, I understand. But I feel like you just had to win one.
He's disappointed in only taking 2 points, for sure.
Yeah.
But those are the tough games that champions win. And if you're not going to get away with that one? No,
that's corny.
Okay. It's corny, but if you're in a title race, you have to win those games.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the grand scheme of things and you look back and you say in the last, they have draw, win, draw.
Mm-hmm. I think
that's simply just not good enough.
Too many draws.
But it's not even just a draw; it's losing points.
Yeah.
You're dropping points at the most
at
a crucial juncture of the season.
Well, we agree that the dip was going to happen.
Yes, but not to this extent.
I feel like the dip, the games that they drew prior, that is more of the issue than these games. Like, if you look at it on paper, these games, they're fine to draw.
Yeah. No, I agree.
They're totally fine to draw.
You can't be drawing to Leicester. You can't be drawing to West Ham.
Yeah, those are 2 derby games that it's like, yeah, okay. But I think the start of that stretch isn't good. The thing about that, though, for them, it's interesting, though, because they had all those days off in the FA Cup.
What did they do in Qatar?
I want to know what the hell they did in Qatar. We need if they don't win this league, we need a real deep dive or some documentary.
I want the receipts on what they did that
Someone's got to come out and tell us what they did in Qatar, because something's not adding up here.
No.
And boy, did Van Dijk really save them. It's kind of raising his stock a bit higher.
Yeah, I think I was going to pose this question, but to me, it's undeniable he's the best center back in the world right now.
Okay, I don't want to have that conversation, but
that's
fair. because you know me, I'm gonna ask what's the diff right now.
Yeah,
but I can't argue. I can't argue that he's definitely in that conversation. It probably is, but I personally not gonna have it. And that's quiet because we're slandering
his guys.
Giorgio ain't there. I played that. But he was huge.
Another phenomenal game.
Huge. They have Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain that should be back in training soon.
I think that would be a big boost.
And if they could get him back by April, I think that would be massive for them. And eventually, Joe Gomez got to come back. At some point.
Where are you at, Joe?
At some point. Like, where are you? Like,
although Van Dijk has made Matip look
very
great.
Good. Yeah.
I never had any worries about that. That's just how it goes. That's very good. But everything is what we see onwards now, the adversity, how they handle that will be huge.
Because now you just have the extra pressure everywhere in the media.
Yes.
I'm sure the players are having conversations with one another.
Of course they are.
So that's not what you need when you're chasing the guys who have already done it.
Yes.
When you're the ones that have something to prove, then it changes the narrative, because in the back of the city players' minds, they don't care what the media is saying because we've been there, we've done that. We know what level we can achieve. And Liverpool is asking themselves all kinds of questions.
And that was to my earlier point. Now, those guys, those proven guys, those guys that know how to win, now they're ahead.
Exactly.
Now they're the ones in the lead. And it's up to Liverpool to chase them. And I think those guys, that Liverpool team with guys that haven't won before, I don't think any of them have won on that team.
Barring Milner.
That's where the pressure is they're gonna feel it. They're gonna feel it in the papers. They're gonna feel it at the training ground. They're gonna feel it in the city. No pun intended. Yeah. So I think on that Liverpool team, you're gonna see that little bit of added stress, that little bit of added pressure, now that they are the ones chasing City.
So then we get to Gnev's comment about them needing
I'll pull it up while you...
them needing to drop it. The only reason why I felt that we need to bring that back is because that brings us to Dan's thought on Spurs needing to drop out of the Champions League.
No, I just said the further it goes, the harder it's going to be for them.
I know,
but I think,
but that should apply to all these teams. That should apply to Liverpool, and that should apply to City. And I want to wait to hear Gnev's comments why I think that should matter to City, and why I think that these draws, although Liverpool are going to go into the weekend in second, I think that they're still fine.
You wanted to hear what Gnev has to say?
What did Gnev have to say?
I don't know if I can do the narration voice like you do it, but
do it. Okay,
he says, I'm going to say it, go out against Bayern Munich. That sounds like madness. And then he goes on to say, of course, you'd never play to lose a game, but it will be in Liverpool's favor if they have a clean run as they can get everyone fresh. City have got a couple FA Cup games where Liverpool could go 5 or 6 points in front. That's tough to pull back in the closing weeks. The title race is still 50-50.
Can I say something first?
Yeah, say what you got to say.
If Liverpool throw it that game against Dortmund, against Bayern, those guys are losers. You are a loser if you go out and truly throw a game. I'm sorry, but you don't go. I don't play chess against someone and throw a game. If you throw that game, you guys are losers. And if that happens, I hope you lose the Premier League too.
Well, they already kind of bottled two cups, kind of doing that same thing, playing much of a weaker squad. But they're not gonna. Okay, Gnev is tripping. They're not gonna bottle the Champions League. They're not gonna bottle that Bayern tie. There's no chance in hell that happens, especially with Klopp going back to Germany. Especially,
you mean intentionally?
Yeah,
intentionally.
Yeah,
intentionally.
They're not going to intentionally. Yeah,
if they lose to Bayern, they lose to Bayern.
Yeah,
but I'm saying if they go out there and you know what? If they go out there and get blown out, they lose 3 or 4-0.
That ain't happen either.
No. But if they do, then I will think that he purposely threw that game.
Okay, Gnev's a loser for bringing that up. There's 100% no way in hell they're throwing that game.
He's trying to say because of the FA Cup games, they can go ahead on those weekends and put the pressure on City.
Yeah. Okay, regardless, this is why he's I get where he's going with this, but they don't need to do all that. Because at the end of the day, we could take this weekend and be like, okay, they really bottled it. But City's April is defining. So before we get into who Liverpool play first or who plays what first, we have to look that City are probably into the quarterfinals. I already know how this goes. City already are in the quarterfinal. We get there. Now they have Fernandinho out, which really doesn't matter when we get to that in a second. It doesn't. But Fernandinho's out. De Bruyne's out. John Stones looks like he's out.
Yep.
They have no left back.
Where's Mendy?
They have no left back. They're still playing Zinchenko. So you got that all down for you.
But Mendy's
okay. I can't trust him. I can't trust him.
Fair enough. Okay.
And then we get to April, where there's somewhere in there's an FA Cup tie.
Yeah.
Then there's the 2 quarterfinal legs, and they play United and Spurs within 4 days.
And Burnley as well. Go away to Burnley. I know it's not that big.
Yeah, but that could be big.
Yeah.
So we want to talk about schedules and who plays first. That don't matter because they got to get through all of that, and they got to get through all of that with a healthy squad. So that's why I'm not taking anything that happened this weekend in terms of pressure or anxiety or nerves. City got a lot of nerves that they're going to have to deal with in April too. And whether they've done it or not, I don't know if they have the bodies to get through all of that. Because United's not going to give them an easy game. United's going to give them the same game with probably a healthier squad than they gave Liverpool.
Nobody's giving you anything.
And Spurs ain't giving them nothing because Spurs are going to be fighting for their lives.
That's right.
So we could come back here in a month's time and have a completely different conversation. Which is why I don't give a damn about if City play first next week and then let's say Liverpool miraculously lose to whoever the hell they play. Fabs already said it. And they go down 4 points. Because that won't matter. I don't think they're psychologically beat. I do think Klopp needs to tweak some things. And I do think some of their players are out of form. And now it's up to the manager to fix it.
I just don't know how they handle the pressure.
He can't keep riding with the same 11 or the same system and think that that's going to get him out of the hump. So that's where I challenge Klopp to do something about it. Don't tell me you paid X amount of money for these guys and when you actually need them against Everton to get the job done. Just 1 goal, and they're on the bench. You know what I'm saying? I know why he plays 4-3-3, but he's at some point it's got to give. You got to take a bit of a gamble. But that's.
So will this potential title failure come at his cost, or will it be not a resource issue?
No, I think it's got to go on him.
He would, if they were to lose, he will take some blame, but it's not the end all be all. He'll be there next season.
Oh no, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I think he shoulders some of the blame.
Yeah, of course. If that's the way it's supposed to go. But I can't look back on these 2 games or specifically this weekend and say that this is.
No, the same way it's turned so quickly against Liverpool, it can turn so quickly against City.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's why the span of 2-3 weeks is nothing.
Yeah.
But I do think that pressure is mounting on Liverpool in the way that they've dropped so many points in so many different games. It's not the fact that they've lost 2 games. They're continuously drawing, which is almost, I think, worse than just losing a game because you were flat that day. It seems to be more than 1 game. It's not to me. It's just not an off. It's glaring issues that he currently doesn't have a fix for.
Yeah, and this is why this is the toughest. This has been the toughest period that they've endured this season. So now, it is on the players, but it's on him
to give us something different,
to find a solution to that.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm waiting for him to do that. And I challenge him, and I challenge you and I. And I can't challenge Pep next because they killed Bournemouth.
That was a flattering scoreline.
They bodied them. I don't think they got to be one of the few teams to never get a shot recorded. Period.
Bournemouth.
Yeah, they had no shots.
I think there was a stat that I came across that said they made 13 passes in the final third.
Yeah,
which is absolutely absurd.
And no shots.
Absurd.
No shot.
Yo, how did they get 5 past? Was it 5 or 4 past Chelsea?
4.
4.
The one thing I will say is that unlike those games, here they played to defend.
They did
from start, but against Chelsea and anyone else that goes to Bournemouth, to I already forgot the name of their stadium. Don't matter. I should know this.
Vitality?
Vitality. There we go. Whenever teams go to Vitality, Eddie Howe thinks that he's gonna outplay them, and normally sometimes it does work there. But here he decided, no, we're sitting. You gotta break us down.
He gave the champions too much respect.
Yeah, he was like, nope. And yeah, man, I was happy to see Riyadh score because he's kind of went.
He needed that.
Yeah, happy for him, and they could have made it more.
Well, they should have made it more in the first half. They should have been home and dry in the first half. Let's be honest.
Yes, but that's City. They've had to do it the hard way a lot of times, both last season and this season. So they got through it. I love the little Aguero chip, by the way. I don't know if that was intentional. I don't know if that was intentional or not.
It was. Give him a little wink.
Oh, really?
Give him a little wink.
I didn't check for the wink. I never want Aguero winking at me.
Slow-mo wink.
I don't want to see Aguero winking at anyone.
No.
But yeah, they totally destroyed that. I don't think there's really anything we need to talk about.
No.
Barring the fact that they were defensively solid, which is kind of going under the radar. And they did it without Fernandinho. Mm-hmm. And I think in that game specifically, you could see what Gundogan can offer you when he's at the base. They just need to see that a bit more.
Yeah, more consistency out of that.
Yeah. So we'll see. And De Bruyne's out again. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm canceling a season.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I'm canceling a season. I don't care if he comes back. Take it off.
Yeah.
We need Laura to go to a City training and tell us what Pep is doing to these guys because I don't know what's going on.
You hear that?
They're playing. He's pushing them to a maximum level, and it's grueling given the amount of games that they do play.
It's a fine line that he's got to toe.
Yeah, and John's out too. You know, John's my guy, and he's out. So we'll see. They've been able to cope without it. Apparently, Bernardo was getting I don't know if he already got it.
A contract.
Yeah,
extension?
shout out to him. Get the bag, boy.
He's been impeccable last month.
That's my guy. And yeah, City now going to the weekend a point ahead.
A point up.
Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it?
Not many people.
At the start of 2019. Oh, look, Pep's back. I don't really care. What else happened? Chelsea went to Fulham.
Oh, God.
Hey,
Fulham
man.
still stink.
Hey, man. Scott Parker was out there, and Chelsea looked like they were on their last legs for those final 30 minutes or so.
I thought it was Tim Pulis on the sideline.
Oh, okay. Scott is a much better looking man than Tony Pulis. I don't care. I'm gonna say it.
You weren't feeling his little hat in the tracksuit?
You weren't having.
Dan would have been a suit manager.
Scott could have came out.
I'm always a suit guy.
Yeah, okay.
Scott would have went out there and done better than McDonald and Chambers.
Oh, Le Marchand.
Yeah,
Adoy.
Get these guys.
They have some terrible defenders.
Get these guys out of here.
Poor
man.
Ryan. Ryan went there, thought he was going to save Fulham's season.
Nope, sorry.
I think it's time for him to switch up the hair color. That might do something else.
Nah, I told you they're all losers, man. Stop this. Higuain scored. Shout out to him.
Jorginho scored. All is well in Chelsea land again.
Eden decides to play well against
Fulham,
against relegated sides. I asked Fabs last week if he thought Eden Hazard is the best player in the Premier League, both in general and this season. No to both.
Is he the best player in the Premier League this season?
Yeah.
No.
And is he, in general, is he the best player?
Also, no.
Who do you think is better than him? In general. Because I want you to think about that before you give me a straight no.
I need that Jeopardy sound. I'm getting that.
Okay, who do you think is better than him this season?
Who do you think has been better than him this season?
Yeah.
Aguero's been better than him this season. Salah's been better than him this season. Put me on the spot.
Okay, you give me two names. That's fine.
Hold on, let me think.
I'm not coming back to debate you.
Oh, okay.
And that is Fab. So I just want to know.
I'm listening. I had my chance to answer this question.
I just want to know if there's anyone that you thought because
Sterling has been better than him this season.
Because there's a general consensus that he has been the best player this season, and that he's the best player in the Premier League. Period.
You could even make an argument Jimenez has been better than him this season.
Okay, I don't co-sign Wolves, so there's no chance I'm going. There's no chance I'm going that far. I will say that I could kind of float with the best player in general. I don't know about this season, but I figured I'd ask you guys just to hear what you guys have to say.
Best player in general.
Yeah.
Best player in general in the Premier League.
Yeah. Like if any team had to go and pick one player.
If you were on FIFA and you were like,
you have to pick one player from the Premier League in real life, not in the video game.
no, in the video.
You know what? He would be up there. I don't know. I don't know if he would be. If he would be number one. The problem. Yeah, I don't know if he would be not. I haven't seen enough of him. See, because I'm going to say I haven't seen enough of him this season. But if you're just talking about
in general,
he
was the best player at the World Cup. So put that into perspective. And if you don't agree with that, then we can talk about that off camera.
No. I'm just the problem I'm having with that is that his poor season clouds my judgment on his day when he wants to play. Yeah, maybe he is the best player.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, the problem is that when is his day and when does he feel like playing?
And that's where Dan has channeled the inner me. Because
we all arrived at the same point but different ways.
Yeah.
I use the word consistency.
Yeah.
You use the term when is his best day.
Yeah.
I just said a bunch of shit, but at the end of the day, it's like I get where you're coming from, and my thing is just like I see him just drift in and out too much.
Yeah,
but a lot of people are like, nah, Eden is the guy. Remember, I told you, Zach was like, if you put Eden on any of Liverpool or City, those teams would be 5 points clear or more, which is we're not getting into that, but
which is impossible to quantify. But
yeah, we'll leave it there. But I just want to ask you that question before we move on. We could think about that. We could revisit it eventually. United won.
Yes.
Boy, we'll get to that loser in a second.
Yeah, think of better.
Southampton were scoring crackers. That's what I know.
Hey, how about that?
My boy James Ward
comes off the bench, finds the top bin.
Yo, Twitter's terrible. They call him the poor man's Kevin De Bruyne. They gotta stop, man.
Wow.
They gotta really
crazy.
They gotta chill.
Weren't they calling Zelensky the Polish De Bruyne?
Yeah.
Right? So that sure ended quickly.
De Bruyne's getting all the slander.
Yeah. I don't know. What has he done? Leave Macaulay Culkin alone.
They don't like him at all. They don't like him at all, man. I do like all of United's goals much better. I don't know why.
Really?
I liked Lukaku's 2 finishes.
I think the winner was impressive to me. Just how he just gets himself into a little bit of space and still is able to fish on his right foot.
Yeah, like the first one, the little body shift. Yeah. Coming from a guy who literally got like shafted this season.
That was the one thing that I took out of this is that he has gone about the season, not said one word, took in whatever minutes he's had, has helped the team in certain instances, plays out wide so that Rashford could play the middle when he's hurt. Like, he's gone about his business in a real professional manner.
Yeah, I gotta salute him because normally I would kill him, but like he's doing his thing, and he's finally getting the chance now, and he's developed a bit of a run of form. And the goals were great, and then Andreas out of nowhere.
Yeah, that was
that kind of shifted the game. Key player from that is your boy, who's had 2 great weeks, shutting down Zaha on the right in midfield. Dalot. I think he did well against Palace.
Playing in a position that he's not really native to.
And I think he looks better there.
Yeah.
And I was half asleep, so I couldn't really tell you this last week. But I thought he did really good against Zaha.
Yeah.
And then this week, I think when he came on, it kind of changed a lot of things. So I think that's been really good for him. And then we get to the loser. Now, should Paul have taken the penalty quickly?
You know what? I that was the first thing that I thought of. I was like, I'm like, Romelu's going to take this.
Isn't that your boy?
Paul doesn't care.
Isn't that your boy? Did I tell you every week I'm going to come in?
Paul ain't shit.
I'm going to tell you guys that Paul ain't shit and he's a loser. This is why he's a loser. And someone told me, oh, you were just waiting for Paul to mess up so that you could slander. I was like, nah, I slander him every week, whether he scores a hat trick or not. That was whack. Let Romelu get his. Why do we need to see you do the little 50 stutter step?
Yeah.
And then you miss. You're not a good penalty taker. He's just really isn't.
Nope.
Change your form. Come on, man. Ollie's got to cut that shit. Like, just tell him to chill.
You think Ollie has the stones to tell him?
No.
That's the issue.
Jose tried.
He works for beIN Sports now.
Yo, we're going to get to him in a second. I'm not having this Jose beg for I need a job right now. No, I'm not having it.
He's going back to Inter.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he is.
He's trying to go back to Real.
He's trying to go back to Inter too.
Yeah. Jose is too much.
We're still on the Prem.
Yeah, Ollie's doing his thing, man. He's a great PR guy. Fabs broke that down last week, and they win again. Top 4 this weekend, and
wait for it.
Let's go back.
I was gonna say, told you so.
Let's go back. No, I'm playing. Anything else big happened in the Prem this weekend? Any big results that mattered? Wolves somehow won. Newcastle lost, I think.
They did 2-0 to West Ham.
Palace won.
Palace destroyed whoever.
Burnley.
Yeah, and then Leicester lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
No win for Rodgers.
No win for Rodgers in his first game. And then
Fat Drake scored.
Who? Oh, Troy.
Yo,
Don't give him that much credit.
It's Fat Drake.
Is he?
Yeah,
Fat Drake.
That's his nickname.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah, Fat Drake.
I want to see you tell that to Troy to his face.
No.
Yeah, Marky's already given you the hands. Okay,
Mark and I are cool.
So La Liga or Italy quick?
Both.
Okay.
Both had big games.
Okay, we're going to Classico.
El Clasico version number 3,555.
You guys did not enjoy it?
Well, I think it went to script.
I almost just expect Barcelona to win.
Yeah.
Is that a bad thing that I go into almost every single Clasico expect? It'll shock me more if Real Madrid wins.
No, because they're the better team.
And that's why I think it's gotten to a point where it's gotten a little stale.
Okay.
Even with those great Champions League sides, I almost still expected Barcelona to win every time. I don't know why that is.
Against, like when you brought up stuff from the past, like last week.
Yeah. I still almost always expect Barcelona to win.
I will say that because I was half asleep last week, those games sucked. But I guess like the thrill behind it was good. I got where you're going, but those games sucked.
Yeah.
I used to hate all of those games. The diving, the chopping.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. Well, Rakitic scored, and I think that was important because he's very underappreciated.
Yep.
And he's a world-class midfielder. And
no one gives him a new contract.
And they should give him a new contract.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long they should give him the new contract for.
But he's out of contract this year, I think.
Yeah.
I think he's playing for his contract.
Apparently he wants to stay.
But he said that.
But I don't know if they're going to give it to him because they got young boy Frankie. And
he's 30.
Yeah.
So I think at this point you're giving him a 2-year max.
Yeah, I'd give him 2-year max. I'd give him 1 year and roll with it.
Yeah.
But he's world class and he's great and he's pivotal to what they do. And it was good to see him play in that game to kind of show what he's all about.
Yeah, I think everybody knows my thoughts on Rakitic. He's definitely up there for me. I thought Arthur as well, having him back is definitely a bonus. I just think Barcelona, even when their players aren't firing on all cylinders, they just pose a much more of a threat that Real Madrid front three is doing right now.
Yes. Bale got kind of whistled or booed off.
He got booed off.
Even his agent came out saying that they should be kissing his feet or something for what he's done at Real Madrid.
Yep. There's some powerful
he has great Real Madrid moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's undeniable. Mm-hmm. That goal that he scored against Barcelona where he went out the sidelines. What was he?
Yeah.
Who did he beat? Piqué or was that Puyol?
No, it was
Batra.
Yeah, he killed him.
He killed him and scored the winner. Obviously, the Champions League final.
The big goal from last time, and then the first one he also scored.
The one in extra time, the header.
Yeah.
Like, he has incredible Real Madrid moments. He's won trophies. But have we ever seen Gareth Bale at his best for an extended period of time at Real Madrid?
No.
And I think that's the biggest beef with Real Madrid fans. And he's been allowed to be that way because of the other names.
Yes.
Because there was Ronaldo there, because the midfielders were playing, and now this season where the star players aren't the star players this season, we're seeing an 18-year-old kid outshine these guys, and now people are asking the questions of Bale, even though these are questions that should have been asked a long time ago.
Yes. Well, that's what happens when things hit the fan and people start to really see what's going on. Mm-hmm. Isco played for a bit.
Free Isco.
Shout out to him.
What did he play? 10 minutes?
Shout out to him. Shout out to him.
That's how you know they're desperate when they're trying to get
Yep.
some creativity.
Cruz came off and there wasn't that great of a response from that. He hasn't played that well either, but
Is there any way Ajax pull this off?
no.
I find it very hard to believe.
And I only say that because they know how to get it done.
Okay.
I'm not going to say it's not going to be very nervy until the end,
Mhm.
but they just have enough to know how to get it done. And mind you, if they're not that far off from Barca, but there's a gap,
Mhm.
and that's
Yeah.
because Barca have a few really great players
Yes.
that Real Madrid kind of don't right now.
Well, we're not talking about them getting laughed off the pitch,
Yeah,
Right.
right?
so I think they should be fine,
Mhm.
even with Ramos out. Ramos trying to fight Messi.
Yeah. Messi was having none of that.
I did that.
Messi's got a little spice to him.
I did
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I don't like Messi with the spike. Like, relax.
Nah.
Like with the dorky dance moves
Yeah.
instead.
No, I don't like those either. Just be shy.
Yeah.
Be quiet. But a lot of people, I put it on the poll to see who would win in the fight. A lot of you guys are not giving Messi some credit. Those
Messi's catching a quick karate kick.
those HGH fists are they will kill Ramos.
You're nuts.
No,
you're
you're
absolutely crazy.
They will kill Ramos. You guys know what whatever. I'll get to that. You guys are nuts. Messi will give him the two-piece.
No. Morata scored. Let's move on. Let's move on from that.
Yeah, two great goals. Boy, is it a bad time to be a Juventus fan, given the fact
Eesh.
Yep.
that they look like
Eesh.
they know what they're gonna do.
Yeah. And Juve is going the total opposite way. But
And
we'll get to them in a second.
Oh, we're getting to them next.
Yeah, I figured that.
The one thing I'll say about Atletico is I challenge them to be great. And this is not necessarily what I want them to do because I actually wanted them to evolve. But I do give Simeone credit that Koke came back at the right time.
Hang on, are you saying that you are the cause of this Atletico Madrid good stretch?
No.
Yeah, yes.
I'm not that good.
Yeah, yes.
I'm just
Trying to
happy.
take
No, I'm
credit.
not. I'm happy that he's gone back to the basics, and it's just worked out for him that Morata is in an environment that works for him.
Mhm.
It's helped out Griezmann, and Koke's there. And boy, I don't know if I'm a betting man. I'm not a betting man, so don't take any advice that I'm going to give you. I just don't know how I could see, unless things really go Juve's way, and I mean really go Juve's way, I don't know.
Well, if I was a betting man, and
I,
I am, I would put a lot of money on Atletico Madrid.
I just don't know. If things, for me, it feels like if they continue to play like this, a lot of things have to go Juve's way.
Look,
Lucky bounce, calls, mistakes. But head-to-head in a clean game, they are just built to... They had 10 men for a long stretch of that game, and they didn't look phased.
Yeah.
And that's just because the way that they play with 10 men, that's the same
The
way they play
same
with 11.
They just play with one less guy pressing from the front. That's it.
There's like, whatever.
That's it. The
Morata,
striker will press on his own.
Morata, you could chill because Grease is going to do the work.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
And Morata's scoring goals now?
Let's I don't know. If I'm a betting man, I'm betting on neither. Because I don't know who shows up on that day.
wow, let me...
Well, what? Here's my thing. Since we've started since we've been doing this podcast in August, not since we started, but since August, there have been less than a handful of times that Juve has
Oh yeah.
shown up.
Handful
So-
times. You're generous.
So if they do show up, that would be the biggest surprise. The biggest surprise.
But for some
from
reason,
that side.
it won't surprise me. Like I don't have as much as I logically want to have full confidence in Atletico to see it out.
Yeah.
They are the team built to see out a 2-0 lead.
Yeah.
For whatever reason in me, I don't believe it 100%.
Well, I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I know.
But no,
like,
I get,
there's this
yeah.
thing in me that says that Juventus are, for some weird reason, are going to perform on that night. And now whatever result comes out of that, whether they push it to extra time, whether it goes to penalty shootout, it is what it is. But I just don't think that it's going to be it's going to be very comfortable for Atletico Madrid.
Are the Ultras going to that game?
No.
Okay. I wasn't going to talk about Juve. I remember I told you last week, I don't want to talk about Juve until after that to assess them. But they did play Napoli. They moved 16 points clear. They're going to win the league. Boy, did they not do it in the flashiest of ways. Again.
What,
Go hit him, Dad. Hit him.
they were the second best team on that day, even when they were up a man.
I know.
They were okay. They were outplayed in the center of the midfield by Napoli. Excuse me. They were out possessed. They were out passed. They were out everything by a good Napoli team. And credit to Carlo that he changed his formation in the second half. He actually changed it too late because if he would have changed that, he would have got a result. And you could argue that they were unlucky not to get a result. That Mertens penalty, you can argue if it was handball or not. Juventus fans will argue that it wasn't. I mean, it was really close to Alexandro. If you're going to start calling those types of penalties, you're going to have penalties every 30 seconds, but that's fine. They went to VAR and all that. Yeah,
this is my one thing with VAR quickly. For you pro VAR people, every goddamn thing in slow motion is going to look like a goddamn handball.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Continue. Continue. That's a big problem. That means we're gonna see a lot of penalties.
I don't like the slow-mo.
And I can't, but they're gonna check the slow-mo 30 times.
Yeah.
And
I think they should be able to watch it back, but in real time.
and yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because in slow-mo, everything looks like contact.
Yes.
Everything looks like a foul. It's
and what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point?
And you zoom in
Yeah.
with the times 10 zoom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can't even-
wow, he nicked him.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Pixelated, you can't even make it out.
That's my
Yeah.
beef with
Yeah.
VAR.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
that it's meant to be right, but we're still not executing it.
I was screaming at home. I was like, "These losers want us to use VAR. Wait till it gets to the Premier League. Look at what the hell's going on."
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
They were dominated in the midfield,
Yeah.
and to Fabs' point and to your point earlier, I don't see them being able to turn this tie around, whether if it's at home or not. I just don't see them being able to overturn that 2-0 especially that Juventus team, and that Juventus team that you saw against Napoli. That is the same lineup that will line up against Napoli, with maybe the exception of Dybala in for Bernardeschi. That's maybe the one change I could see.
Is Bentancur play instead of Emery? Chan? Maybe.
Maybe that's the second one. Yeah,
Because I don't want to see Emery. I don't want to see Emery Chan on the field.
he wasn't good either.
And I've already said that I think Matuidi's past it. He has like one little dart in him left
Yeah.
down the left channel.
I see them going to a two-man midfield just because they're going to try to go for it.
But Chiellini wasn't good. Bonucci wasn't good.
I gotta get to them.
Yeah.
I gotta get to them.
Yeah, they both weren't. They didn't cover themselves in any glory.
Come on, they're like 55 years old.
When Bonucci gave the pass to Zelensky,
Yeah.
You guys gotta.
I was like, "Yo, man, you're making this really."
You guys, they're like a year away from getting a pension. You guys gotta relax.
Khalidi like just was like, "Oh shit, well, let me not call it off." Or what were they doing? No, but this is the problem: is that they've been doing that all season. Bonucci picked up some bad habits at Milan.
Yep.
Some really bad habits.
Milan are like, oh, you want to go?
Yeah. Well, what's going on? Yeah, I don't know. Was it Insigne that missed a penalty?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had a real big problem with him, but we're running past time. I'm gonna talk about him eventually. I need to have a discussion about Insigne and have a discussion about Yaya Toure for some reason. I need a discussion about a lot of people. Well, he's got to be better.
Yes.
Lorenzo has to be better, and that's why I don't think he'll ever get a big money move. He's got to be better. I have not been impressed with him this season.
I think that Napoli attack has been their downfall this season, where they haven't been able to get timely goals when needed.
Yes.
Even Milik hasn't been the player that you expected him to be.
No.
Whereas for Juve, was it? Yeah, man. Great free kick by Pjanic. Stupidity by him to get sent off.
Yes. Deserves second yellow.
Yeah.
And you know what?
He's taken an extra week off to prepare for the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Smart.
Genius.
Smart until he gets pressed out of it.
Yeah.
I see you, Pjanic.
I read some people online saying it wasn't a red on Ronaldo.
We don't got time.
I don't have
to
time.
discuss
I don't
that.
have time to that.
We don't discuss
It's a
that.
red every day of the week,
We
and
don't-
that's the end of that.
We don't have time to discuss that. I don't
No.
know.
Inter lost.
Inter lost.
Bums.
Because I don't have nothing else to say about Juve.
Oh, actually, on Inter, there was a. It only happens on Italian TV that this happens. Cassano went off on one day Cardi.
I was gonna. Can somebody get her off Instagram?
No, this was on a talk show.
I know, but I'm saying, can somebody get her off Instagram?
yeah.
Because like her husband's not playing games and she's posting scandalous photos on her Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
good for her.
Whatever. She's a loser. Milan
Moving to the top 3.
Milan moving to top 3. Probably should have won by more after. Well, Piatek, was it Consigli?
Yep.
Yeah, that was what. I don't know. We're not getting into that, but whatever. They won, and that was like a terrible 90 minutes that I want to get back. But shout out to them because they've been doing it the hard way, and they're in there. And no one would have thought that they would, given how the way they started the season.
Oh, Roma have a chance to make up ground on Inter, tie them, and they get smoked.
Yo, I watched that, by the way.
Smoked.
Yeah, Manolas is really pivotal to that back line.
Yep.
Because Fazio and Juan got smoked by Joaquin. Joaquin killed them.
Yeah, I hope it's that easy for Marega on Wednesday.
Your Porto team has a chance.
No,
So you're telling me there's
because
a chance.
tell him about because then we got to get to Fabs.
No,
about what
I'm
happened
not.
this weekend.
No, we're skipping.
We're skipping, right?
Yeah, we're just gonna talk about TFC.
So don't
Sorry.
say that, but I will say that Roma got a. Yeah. I'm not. I've already told you guys not having the midfielder Cristante, Pellegrini,
De Rossi.
they need a new midfield. They really do. And the center backs got killed by Joaquin. And then like you look at the build up to the penalty, you look at the build up to the goal, simple throw in, and they all everyone just stood still. I was like, what's going on? It's a big problem. That was a terrible loss. I think that was Lazio's biggest derby win.
I was just checking that.
Yeah, biggest derby win. And shout out to Lazio because they never really get it done in these big games. I know it's a derby, so yeah, it could happen. But 3 goals?
Yeah.
And Kolarov didn't get sent off to the end because of some stupidity. I was like, yo, man.
He's always in the middle of something.
I had to watch it because that scoreline really had me thinking, whoa.
What happened here?
Yeah. Shout out to Lazio. And that's Italy roundup quickly.
Yep.
Bundesliga.
Dortmund lose.
Bayern win.
Yep.
Hey, no.
And that's the Bundesliga.
Ji Dong-Wan deserves some credit because he wasn't playing like that at Sunderland.
That little chip.
And the second chip was disgusting.
Don.
He was the Don. He donned that. No, that's crazy. He killed the man. Look, the problem with Royce came back, and I think the most important thing here was that he came back.
Yes.
I don't care how he played. The most important thing is that he came back.
And he'll be ready for, was it Wednesday or Tuesday?
For tomorrow. Or when people listen to it today.
Sorry, yeah.
So he'll be back. That may not be enough to win their play.
No. I'm glad somebody said it. Rubbish. Just absolute rubbish.
I'm here to tell you how the fuck it goes. That was terrible. I had to swear. Yo, man. That was bad. So predictable. We knew exactly where they were going. They tried a little trick with Götze and Sancho. They need something bigger.
You spent all that money on Paco? Well, all that money. You spent 20.
Yeah.
And Götze's your false 9?
Yeah. They got to stop that. I just don't want to see them go that route against Spurs.
You want to talk about one-dimensional? They're getting to the point where it's so predictable at this point.
Yeah.
The 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
When is he going to give us something else now?
Exactly. Well, you see, I think, yeah, he put himself in that position. You were supposed to be this good. now we got to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
But he's got to be better because now they've let in Bayern. And the only reason why I don't want to talk about Bayern this week, or, well, they don't play this week either. The reason I want to talk about them is because Gladbach did nothing.
Right.
They just showed up. And they got killed. Lewandowski could have had 2 hat tricks.
But is that Bayern hitting their stride?
I don't.
Or is it just Mönchengladbach is extremely poor?
Well, Javi Martinez keeps scoring. he scored. He scored for fun now.
He drank something special
every single week. I've always felt that Thiago and him in that midfield are very essential, and they got through that game without Goretzka, Coleman, and without Alaba, which I think is very integral. But like I said, Lewandowski should have had several goals. Serge is playing with some confidence. So things are slowly coming together. And
how was Torgan?
Thorgan was good.
No.
It's the other bumps. Nuhas. No, it was the center backs. Ginter and Elvaj, or whatever his name is. They were terrible. And Lang. Lang was horrible.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. It's tough because I want to say more about them, but Gladbach were just so naive, so open. And like I said, man, you have to look at the third goal, which they just dispossessed Kramer and then just easily gave the ball to Lewandowski, turned into the two center backs and was free to shoot, and he scored.
That's the thing about Bayern, though. Sometimes they can make it look extremely easy. As bad as the opposing side can be, they still are, in my opinion, far and away the best team in Germany.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Head and shoulders above.
It was
The first 5 months of their season, they should have not been in that position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They dug themselves into this hole, and now they've obviously dug themselves out of it.
Yeah.
And mind you, Dortmund were, which you're probably gonna admit, were on an incredible run.
On a tear.
Yeah,
And now they've come back to earth.
That's
right?
their second loss this season.
Yeah.
So, but now it's heads up. Now it's even. Now we see who the better side is.
Yeah.
to
And they
finish
both
out
have
the season.
I think it's eight games left.
Yes, and Dortmund has to go to Bayern.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
It's just funny that I don't want to watch the game now because Dortmund are doing what Spurs are doing, what Liverpool's doing, and Dortmund and Spurs are kind of alike, which means that when you have two mediocre teams playing against each other based off form, it's never going to be fun.
That means it's going to be 0-0 and boring.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
I do not see any way that Spurs and Dortmund play each other to a 0-0 draw.
Now I hope they do.
Yeah.
This might be like 4-4.
That'd be crazy. But yeah, man. Sorry, Bundesliga fans. Dortmund were one-dimensional, awful, not that great. The Don sunned them, and then Bayern was just Gladbach not really showing up. And Lewandowski should have scored 6. He scored 2. And yeah, man. Anything else you guys want to add on that before we get to the main event?
No.
The main event. Yo, we need that dum 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 dum. I forgot how the rest goes.
Was that like Jaws?
No.
I was like,
No. Is it Star Wars? Dun, 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 dun.
Where the screen, the credits.
Ric Flair's entrance?
Yes.
Yeah.
We get the Ric Flair entrance. We need that for TFC every week. TFC. First game of the MLS season, and we're going to end it off with you guys because you won. No one expected you to win. And you came out here and you got the job done in Philly. And more importantly, Michael Bradley is the leading goal scorer in the first week of the MLS season.
Is it the first time in his career he scored a brace or something like that?
TFC career.
Oh,
First
TFC
time in his
career.
TFC career.
Yeah.
Vintage Michael breaking into the box, doing what Ozo couldn't do. That penalty shot was terrible.
Oh, yeah, it was.
But I've always said
But you know
that
what? Credit to him to step up, though.
No, he can't shoot.
No, but credit for him to taking that.
He can't shoot.
But he shouldn't have been taking. He shouldn't have been the one taking that
If
penalty.
you can't shoot, I can't give you credit for going up there to shoot.
Yeah. Listen.
He can't shoot.
Listen.
He knows he can't shoot.
We've
Why
all
did
missed.
Bradley not want to take it?
That's what I.
That's the bigger question.
Yeah.
That's the bigger question. Why do you want to take it?
Mike, get into contact with us. We want to know
Mike.
why you ain't got stones,
Mike.
buddy.
From the bottom of my heart, this is no slander to you. I don't want a threatening email, but
That's crazy.
I don't want you to come at me and my family. I just want to know why you didn't take the penalty. You know that Ozo can't shoot. He can't. How many goals has he scored outside the box?